I got a chance to experience a couple $1 million home theater demos, experience rooms at CEDIA 2024. But in this video, I want to talk about Sound Room 4. This was an incredible experience, VIP experience that was put on by a few partners that I'm going to mention here in a little bit. But what I want to do is I want to tell you about the room and all of the equipment and the specs that were in that room, and then I want to break it down and give you my experience of each individual piece of gear that was in there. So I have my phone here so that I can remember all the equipment, all the partners, and all the specs. So Sound Room 4 was an experience at CEDIA put on by Brett and some of the partners. So the partners that were in that room were Storm Audio, Ascendo Speakers, Christie Projector, Lumagen Processor, and Moovia Seating. So yeah, Brett reached out to us, a bunch of us content creators, a couple weeks before CEDIA, and asked if we would want to participate in the VIP that happened on Friday. And yeah, so there was a lot of content creators there. Really cool room. But let's talk about the equipment that were in there, and then I want to give you my thoughts. So first, let's talk about Ascendo. So Ascendo provided all the speakers in the room. And to let you know, it was a 13.12.10 hybrid audio over IP home theater demo. Let me repeat that. 13.12.10 audio over IP. So state-of-the-art technology. There were 12 subs in there. So I'm going to read you what the press release said for Ascendo for the Sound Room 4. So Ascendo featured their flagship Black Swans as screen channels, so left, center, right behind the screen, and debuted a radical new subwoofer design. The entire speaker system demonstrated the unique advantages of professional-grade coaxial design, delivering consistent timing and response symmetry to each of the 12 luxury Moovia seats. So you won't be able to see the LCR, the Black Swans, but if I have some images, I'll throw them up on screen. So behind the screen, there was 3 Black Swans, your left, center, right, and then there was 6 subs. So they had 3 subs stacked in each corner. So in the far right corner, or in the right corner up front, and then 3 more subs in the left corner behind the screen. So that's 6 subs behind the screen. And then same configuration directly across from each other in the very back of the theater, which you'll be able to see in the B-roll. There was 6 more subs. So you had 3 stacked in each corner. And man, the experience was absolutely phenomenal. So I was sitting, there was 3 rows of seats from Moovia Seating, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. I was sitting in the second row on the very far right, so the very last seat on the right. And the imaging was amazing. So, because I was so far over, basically I was sitting at the edge of the screen, I still didn't notice any type of off-axis issues listening. Now, obviously, some of the surround speakers, I was closer to them, so those were running a little bit more hot, not because it was calibrated that way, just because it was a lot hotter to my ears. But even then, it wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't like piercing. It wasn't like, oh my God, these are too close. The room was built perfectly. I don't remember the dimensions. I'll try to find that out, and if I have it, I'll put it up on screen. But man, the imaging in there was just absolutely phenomenal. Those Black Swans, if you've ever heard them, I've heard them a few times, but in this configuration was just absolutely amazing. We watched some movie clips. I know we watched Blade Runner 2049. I don't even remember all the clips that we watched now. We listened to some music clips, and everything was just phenomenal. And as far as the bass, this was some of the most impressive bass that I've heard. So Ascendo had their new subwoofers, their new subwoofer designs. They had 12 of them, which is absolutely insane. And I almost don't know how to describe the bass to you, because the first time when I was in there listening, I was sitting, in the second row, and then I moved and went to the very back row in, I believe, towards the middle. And what was so incredible was the bass was, it's almost like the bass was, it's hard to describe, but the bass was incredibly tactile, but very clean, no distortion. And I'm trying to think of the right word. The bass was almost like, it was almost like this tunnel of bass, even though it was even throughout the room. It was almost like it was directed right at me, wherever I was sitting, but especially when I was sitting in the back. And I remember I looked over at Matt, and this was even before, like, so Matt Trinkline was basically running through some demos, and on some of the music demos, he was just doing 2-channel, so it was just a left and a right. And I remember I looked at him, I was like, are the other subs on? And he was like, no, right now it's just 2-channel, it's just the Black Swans. And I was like, dude, that is insane, because it's almost like the bass is just like honed in on me, but I also feel it evenly throughout the room. And then when they kicked on some home theater demos, the bass was just, it was just insane. It was just very clean, very precise. And I believe they said they were using like 1% of the actual capabilities of those Ascendo subwoofers. So Ascendo, man, those, I'm a believer now. And I don't remember all of the model numbers of the rest of the speakers. I'll try to put that stuff in the description, but they had wides, they had, the height channels and everything. Just absolutely phenomenal. Okay, let's talk about Storm Audio, the processor. So I've heard Storm Audio many times by now. First time I heard it was at Doyle's home theater tour that I did at his place, and then I've heard them numerous times at M-Wave, at CEDIA a couple years. So this is the press release that Storm released before CEDIA. So, making for a hybrid audio over IP 13.12.10 system, Ascendo's new audio over IP network enabled amplifiers will drive the Black Swans and subs, digitally connecting via a Cat6 Ethernet to Storm Audio ISP's Elite 32 digital audio over IP Mark III, which will manage processing and calibration. Storm Audio's MK3 PA8 Ultra amps were powering the Ascendo surrounds and top channels with the classic XLR configuration. So one of the things that's most impressive about Storm Audio is that they're able to do audio over IP, which relieves such a headache as far as wiring, just wiring itself, being able to connect everything over, I believe, just one Ethernet cable. Maybe there's more, but just the fact that you're able to do that, you're able to send multiple signals, multiple channels over an Ethernet cable, that is just wild. And there's no audio degradation, there's no loss in fidelity. And then when you think about, you don't have, if you've got 13 speakers, you've got 12 subs, you've got 6 height speakers, the amount of wiring that's required for that can be an absolute headache. And the fact that they're able to do everything over IP is just insane. And if they hadn't told us that they were doing that they were doing audio over IP, you would never even know. There's no, I don't know if it's technically like better as far as quality of sound and signal degradation over, I don't know what the like max distance is that you can do that, but I know Ethernet, you can send stuff over Ethernet for like a long distance. But yeah, Storm Audio, awesome. I'm a fan of them. I've heard them in multiple setups, and they just did an awesome job. Okay, let's talk about Seymour Screens. So, Seymour Screens press release. As CEDIA Expo first, Seymour Screen Excellence will demonstrate its commercial grade and lighter pro 0.9 gain acoustically transparent screen surface, the screen choice of mastering studios worldwide. It will be mated to their 4-way adjustable ratio theater ART masking system at 13.5 feet wide. This powerful combination brings reference level audio and video performance and at commercial cinema sizes up to 550 inches to residential and corporate screening rooms. And then I want to read this side note here. So this was new to me. I didn't know about ART, and not to be confused with Storm Audio's art. This is Seymour Screens art. So ART stands for Adjustable Ratio Theater, which is a luxury reference-grade acoustically transparent motorized masking system that at its largest inclusive of masking spans an astounding 400 inches, and I believe that's updated because the press release said 550 inches. But it's available with either 2 or 4-way masking. The system is built on the wall rather than the traditional method of assembling, lifting, and hanging, making for such vast sizes and easier installation. So again, Seymour Screens, I've seen them multiple times in home theater tours that I've done personally. I've seen them at M-Wave the last couple of years. I've seen them at CEDIA, and they are, Chris Seymour is a genius. The man is just a flat out genius. And what he's able to do, not only with the screen material, but at these massive, almost basically commercial sizes, and you're not able to see any like degradation, you're not able to see any of the weaves, you're not able to see, you know, any of the material when you're sitting at these distances, whether you're close or far, and the image just looks absolutely pristine. So I'm a huge fan of Seymour Screen excellence, and I've got a project coming to the home theater in a couple months that I'm excited to tell you guys about. I'm gonna wait until I actually get it done and it's final, but there's some exciting stuff coming to the theater. So yeah, Seymour Screens, you know, getting a chance to talk to Chris, like, the guy is super smart. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about, and you get a chance to talk to him, and you really can tell his passion is for home theater. Actually, a lot of these guys, but Chris is one of the few vendors that I've seen every year at CEDIA that I've been there, where it's not just a vendor that's there and they have a representative of that vendor there. Like, it's Chris. This is his baby. This is his company, and he's there. He's talking to everybody. He's actually like running demos. He's giving, you know, speeches. The guy is involved like most other companies aren't, where the CEO, whatever his title is, I mean, he's the owner. It's Seymour Screen Excellence. It's Chris Seymour. You don't typically see that with a lot of these brands, and you can tell that he has the same love and passion as us home theater enthusiasts. He's a home theater enthusiast, and it's really cool that you can walk up to him and just talk to him like a normal person and get his knowledge and his experience in the industry. And again, like, what he's doing with his screens is just absolutely phenomenal, and I can't wait to get one of them in my home theater. All right, now let's talk about the projector, Christie projector. Christie projectors are one of those experiences, and I use the word experience because it's an experience. If you've never seen one, it's very hard to describe to you the image quality. If you have seen one, then you know what I'm talking about. And I know for sure one of my subscribers actually has a Christie projector, which is insane. But these projectors are just, they're in a different league of their own. The only other thing that I would even compare them to would be like a Barco, kind of like in the same class. But Christie, well, you know what? Let me read you the press release. So for Soundroom 4, illuminating the screen was a Christie Griffyn, which is a 4K 35 RGB projector with an astounding 36,500 lumens. Let me repeat that. 36,500 lumens with native 4K resolution, 98% of the Rec 2020 color space, proprietary RGB pure laser illumination architecture, and energy efficient and compact design. This powerful projector delivers a premium home theater experience. And that is exactly what we experienced at Soundroom 4. It is a premium home theater experience. This is the second or third time that I've seen a Christie projector, and they're just, it's like legitimately looking through the clearest window that you've ever seen. I want to say it's the closest to like looking at real life that you'll get on a projector. The demos that they showed us were just absolutely beautiful, absolutely amazing. Paired with the Seymour Screen Excellence was just mind-blowing. You know, a lot of these projectors, Barco I think had a sign on theirs too, but they have these signs outside of the theaters that say like don't look directly into the projector screen because it'll damage your eyes. I mean, 36,500 lumens, that's insane. That's ridiculous. And yeah, the image quality was phenomenal. The HDR was just beautiful. It was popping off the screen. The contrast, the colors, the detail. Just it's hard to describe to you what a Christie projector looks like unless you've actually seen one. And then for video processing was Lumagen. So press release for Lumagen said, Lumagen's Radiance Pro 5244 will manage video processing. Key attributes include dynamic tone mapping for high dynamic range content, customization features, and automatic source aspect selection, directly controlling the Seymour Screen Excellence masking system. A new partner to the group demo, Lumagen President Jim Peterson stated, the Radiance Pro is designed for your client to experience what the director intended. Its performance and feature set make it an essential component for every home cinema. So this was my first experience with Lumagen. I've seen videos on YouTube, but I've never, all of the home theater tours that I've did, no one's ever had one. I've seen Mad VR. This was my first experience with Lumagen. And while I don't know a whole lot about them, and it was only the first time that I've experienced it, everything looked great paired with the Christie projector and the Seymour Screen Excellence. And then the fact that it's able to control, the masking system with Chris's, 4-way masking system, everything looked amazing. So I know some of you guys out there have Lumagen. They've been around for a long time. They've been a staple in the industry. They knocked it out of the park. I don't know. I hate to use the word weakest link, but with something like a Lumagen and a Christie projector and a Seymour Screens Excellence, I can't tell you what is the weakest link. If one of them, if they didn't have the Lumagen, how it would look. If they had a different projector with the Lumagen, how it would look. I just know that all of those things paired together, those three, the Lumagen, the Christie projector, and Seymour Screen Excellence, it's a phenomenal viewing experience. And then lastly, the seating. So this was a new company. I had never heard of this company, Moovia. When I was reading the press release, I was like, Moovia. I had to actually go and look them up. And I was like, oh, they look like they make some pretty good seats. So the press release from Moovia said, also new to the demo and US CEDIA channel is Moovia. The German seating manufacturer is featuring 3 rows of its luxury Marbella model. Moovia CEO Frank Douglas says, we are excited to not only be showing our products at the expo for the first time, but to partner with this incredible group. We believe our Marbella seating will do its part in contributing to the entire luxury theater experience. And yeah, these were some very comfortable seats. These are a little bit different seats than your typical Valencia theater seating. I think they have some similar seats comparable, but these were it was almost more it felt more like a loungy home theater couch than an actual just a chair. So there was 3 rows, and I would say that the mechanism, so one of the things I wasn't too fond of was the mechanism to move the seats, so to recline, was down inside the cushion. You couldn't even see it. We actually had to kind of move our hand in there and find it. So I think that maybe could be a little bit better design. But as far as comfortable, super comfortable. They weren't leather. It was like a cloth material. I'm sure it's, a much more high-end cloth material that you would find at your typical, box store where you buy couches and seating. But super comfortable. And then they had an interesting, so for on the side, on the armrest, they had this thing that would actually slide out, and I think it came off where you can put stuff, in there. I don't have a whole lot to say about the seats, but they were comfortable. They look nice. They look cool. And, they're partnered with all these other companies that are super high end. So I'm assuming that they're high end, and they're German, and Germans make some really good stuff. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced Moovia seating. If you have, let me know down in the comments. And let me know down in the comments if you guys were at CEDIA and you got a chance to check out this demo room, or if you have any of this equipment in your home, theater. Let me know the model number, what stuff you have, so we can get a conversation started. But yeah, that was Sound Room 4. One of my favorite experiences at CEDIA 2024 this year. I think this year every year gets better, but this year was was my favorite CEDIA so far. Probably because I got a chance to relax a little bit. I didn't do as much as I did last year. I think last year I shot like 13 or 15 videos or something crazy. I think I did somewhere close to 10 this year, but I got a chance to really, you know, dive in and see a lot of the experience rooms and demo rooms that I didn't get to see last year. And this was one of them. So I want to thank everybody that was, you know, that made it possible for us to go into this room. So Chris Seymour, and I won't mention everybody just because there's so many people involved, but these are the names that I have. So Chris Seymour, Evan Zerby, and Paul Muto from Seymour Screen Excellence, Gary Blouse, Matthew Trinkline from Storm Audio, Jeffrey Heinzel from Ascendo, Jim Peterson from Lumagen, Todd Sutherland, Moovia, Doug Boyer, Christie, and Brett, I'm probably going to butcher your name, sorry Brett Bajorkist from Facnatics. So thank you to everybody that put this room together and let us come and check out the demo room kind of after hours, after CEDIA had kind of closed. And yeah, everybody had pretty much left. They turned off the lights, but we were able to stay back and get an experience of this room without the hustle and bustle of, you know, just CEDIA and people coming through. This was a VIP event for, you know, some of the content creators. And Brett is the one who really, you know, spearheaded this and reached out to all of us and made it possible for us to come into the room and check it out. He fed us, super hospitable. Chris was hanging out in there. You know, Chris Seymour was hanging out in there. Matt Trinklang was hanging out in there. I think pretty much all of the other partners actually like that were there left, you know, which is understandable. They're busy. They need time to rest because it's a long show and they're pretty much giving the same speeches every single day. So yeah, thank you, Brett. Thank you, everybody that made this possible. This was an awesome experience. Hopefully we get a chance to do it again. And there also was a contest that there was a winner, that a contest that Brett put on. And I don't remember the winner's name, forgive me, but somebody got a chance to come to CEDIA and check out all this stuff for free. It was a free trip. So Brett made that possible as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Sound Room 4. Again, if you attended CEDIA this year and you got a chance to experience it, I want to know what your thoughts are. If you weren't there and you were watching this video, what do you think about all the equipment? You know, $1 million system. If you get a chance to go to something like CEDIA or M-Wave and get a chance to experience $1 million system, it kind of almost ruins your experience at home, because it's like, I'm never going to attain this. This is incredible. But just the fact that you're able to experience it, and the fact that I was able to experience it with my fellow content creators, some who I've never met before. You know, I've watched their videos on YouTube, and I don't have time to mention everybody's name, but just know I pretty much met everybody that was there. So that was really cool, getting to talk to them, get a chance to hang out with them, talk shop with them, talk about their systems, and talk about our shared experiences, because it's really hard to talk to people who aren't content creators about content creation. And just talking about some of the struggles that we've had, some of the changes that we've gone through, that we've seen in the industry on YouTube, it's really cool to be able to have all these people in the same room and we can all relate to one another. So yeah, that's Sound Room 4, CEDIA 2024. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you do all the YouTube stuff, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.